So, Tamara, is there anything that I have not asked that you would like to share?
That's a good question, Melissa. Is there anything? I would say, I don't know. I One thing that I feel like I want to share, um, that's kind of on my heart is like don't allow fear to paralyze you. Don't allow the fear of the future or the fear of the unknown to paralyze you, because one thing that I think about often is going to the grave with regret, or going to the grave with unfinished business, and wishing that when I had the opportunity to do something that I didn't take advantage of it, even though I had the money, the time, the resources, solely because of fear. So I think that's the main thing that I really want to get out there. Is like, you live. Live.
And we'll end it on that.
Greetings, and welcome to Next Stop Loading, the Growth Series. I am your host, Melissa, aka Stella, overworked millennial turned freshman entrepreneur. So did things really change? Right. Anyhow, each week I'll bring you a conversation with professional women in various industries that are doing and or have done what the pandemic is teaching all of us to do. Figure it out. As a member of the Great Resignation, this series is dedicated to career and life transition. I hope this series engages and inspires you to grow with us on this journey of navigating this thing called life. I hope you know you're not alone. Join us.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Next Stop Loading, the Grow Series. I have a very special guest here with me today. I'm so elated that she decided to join me and basically say yes, because, she didn't have to say yes, but I appreciate the yes nonetheless. So I'm going to ask her to introduce herself. If you will you share or tell the people what your name is, your occupation, and if you're not too modest, your age?
I'm 21. So my name is Tamara Robinson. I work in the insurance industry. I'm a work comp analyst, adjuster. I do a little bit of consulting, and I am 31 years old.
You guys, so shout out to Tamara, because I really didn't think she was going to tell y'all her real age. I really didn't think she would, but look at us. We're already off to a great start.
25.
25, and we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it, because I couldn't have guessed 31. Do you see these little guys get into it?
That's why I was like, I'm gonna tell the people how old I am, because I drink my water.
Do you mind?
And mind my business.
Shout out to the people. Yes, drinking your water and minding your business will get you what? Ting. Yes, you see it. For those that are listening and not getting the visual, we have a beautiful Black woman before us that doesn't look a day over 21. She's chosen to roll with 25. And we're gonna stick it back. We're gonna stay with it. We're gonna stay with it, because, as they say, good Black don't what?
Correct.
There you go. There we go. So, insurance claims adjuster.
Right.
That was a mouthful.
How?
Oh, what I didn't ask you to share with the people, where are you currently residing?
I am currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Now, were you born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia?
No, so I was born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Shout out to the town. Real ones know what's up. Real ones know what's up. Shout out to the town. Born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas. How do we get to insurance claims adjuster? Because is that something you thought about as a kid? Like your mom and them, like, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And you like an insurance claims adjuster.
No, absolutely not.
So how do we even get there? Because I feel like, how do you even come across it? Like you can't major in that in school, to my knowledge. They didn't have it down to my university. Now maybe yours.
They have risk management programs. You can get degrees. Certain colleges and universities have risk management degrees now. It's something newer.
I was about to say, you said now. Keyword now.
It's
Now.
new, but it's not required to get into the industry.
Let me tell you about the scam. Hello?
Of school.
Hello? Anyway, okay, so how do we get, first of all, from Little Rock to ATL? Now, have you been anywhere else between Little Rock and ATL?
No, I've only been in Little Rock, and then in 2018 moved to Atlanta.
Awesome. So you've been here, 3 years?
Yes, my 3-year Atlanta-versary is coming up.
Come on, Atlanta-versary is coming up. Now, do you think that Atlanta will be home for, that's where we're staying?
And I'm open.
For our visual listeners, you saw that. If you're not visually watching, tap in. Tap in. That's all I'm gonna say.
Do you
Tap
hear me,
in.
God?
Okay, so how do we get to Atlanta?
Okay, so I know you were asking how claim. I got into claims. I was actually working for Arkansas Trucking Association, and they actually have an all-female leadership staff.
Shout out to that. That's something you don't hear often.
And actually the president of the association came to me and said, Tamara, this is, as I see your potential. You're doing amazing work, but for the caliber of woman and the skills that you have, I do not want to keep you here. I would love to have you.
Can we park there just for a second? I hate to be the person to interrupt this wonderful story, because
Okay.
you were on a roll. You were on a roll. You were getting the ball rolling. But for one, to be a part of an all women led leadership staff,
Right.
and for another woman
Mm-hmm.
to see your potential.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta ask for the listeners: was this a black woman?
She was white.
But the lady said,
But still.
Right.
The
the lady said, I see your potential.
right.
And let me not waste your time or continue to play in your face.
Because she said, I'm gonna be here for a while.
Me, myself, personally.
I'm going to be here, so my job is not opening
I'm the
up
president.
anytime soon.
Ain't it? You can't grow here. Is what I'm
And
saying.
that's basically what she was saying.
That's
basically
dope.
what she was
I
saying.
think that's dope. And
Yeah.
I wish more stories had this in it. Because I don't hear it often. I'll just
Right.
say that. I don't hear it often. So she came to you. I almost called her sis, but I'm going too far. Miss Lady came to you.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes.
And said, let me not play in your face no more. You need to move around.
Right.
Okay, so what does that process look like?
So she had a friend.
Because people be knowing people. It's not always what you know.
It's really about who you know.
Relationship building, guys.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
So she introduced me to this lady. She kind of mentored me even before I got into insurance claim. Now she was black, and she was like, "This is what you're gonna need to know." When I know people in industry, because the industry, especially back home in Arkansas, back home, Little Rock, is small.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, when something comes open, I'm going to let my people know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just so happened that's how I ended up at Energy,
Okay.
all based upon relationship.
Okay.
And got an interview at Energy for as a claims adjuster. No prior knowledge other than the research that I had done on my own.
So you were not an insurance claims adjuster at Arkansas Trucking.
No, I was like a marketing. I did like their marketing and social media. Like
The talent just abounds, guys. It abounds. Continue. I'm sorry.
so yeah, so no experience whatsoever. I got an interview based upon relationship, and went into the interview. I interviewed with my future supervisor, and then I interviewed with my future manager, which was a Caucasian male, and he was just excited that I had played sports and
Talents continue to roll.
and had graduated with a particular GPA.
What was that GPA for the people?
3.724. Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna share my GPA with you. Just know I graduated.
But he admired me being able to do that and work at the same time. He had sons that played football at SAU. Of course, I went to Ouachita Baptist University, which is in the same conference as SAU.
And I mean, for the sake of respecting my guest,
Please.
go ahead, shout out your university. And I have this tone of voice when expressing these sentiments, because the university that she is representing is a rival university of the one I attended. So, I mean, for the sake of respect, don't shout, you know.
Shout out
Your little
Aretha
university.
Franklin. Respect.
Shout it out. Go ahead, do your thing.
Thank you for that education, the free one.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Yes, you all are in the same conference. What's the name of the university? Do you want to share or no?
SAU.
No. That you attended.
I said Ouachita Baptist University.
Ouachita Baptist University.
That's a little disrespect.
What? My tone? My apologies, because the last thing that I want to do is disrespect. Okay. You got me. All right. So, same conference.
Mm-hmm. So he admired the fact that I was able to play a sport, be involved in different campus organizations and maintain a particular GPA. He admired that. So, really my personality, I feel like my potential and my personality really got me the job, because he told me after the fact that he wasn't necessarily hiring for that position. He was hiring for the good of the entire company. So somebody that they could mold to be in management, move around in the company.
And this was a white man.
Yeah. But the story shifts.
Look at favor. Okay. Oh. I love when the story shifts. Come on, babe. Get into it.
So I think it took about maybe 4 to 6 weeks. And I really have written the job off. Like, you know how you interview and then they take however long
they feel like to get back with you.
And I remember I was in 10 Fitness on, what is that? Riding Parent. And he calls me and he's like, I'm sending you over the offer letter. Mind you, I'm like 24. I said, oh, okay. And the money that's in insurance.
Tell me more, because I'm not in insurance, and I may be looking for career opportunities. So tell me more. The money that's
the money that's I will just say that it was really good money. It was about I started at 50,000 at 24.
At 24.
At 24, which was a lot of money
in Arkansas.
In Arkansas, that's a lot of money in Arkansas.
In about 2014.
Yeah, 2014.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, about 2014.
And
Mind
this is like entry level?
This is entry level.
Because you already expressed that you had no experience.
No experience.
Okay.
Entry level, and I'm still, I'm still living at home. You know how the South does it,
Listen, life is expensive.
I didn't have any bills.
I just missed.
I just lived,
Mm-hmm.
went to work.
Mm-hmm.
My car was paid off, back then.
So,
Not now.
Big Bank Hank,
Period.
rolling in the dough.
Period. So that's how I got my start. So I stayed there up until August of 2018. And then that's when I decided to move to Atlanta.
Interesting. So why leave?
I left because honestly, and I don't think that we've ever had this conversation.
We've never had this conversation.
I left because I felt like I was literally dying. Like I felt like every day was me waking up, going to work, and that was all that I could look forward to. And probably the last 3 months that before I was like, this is the day that I'm moving, period. Like, you're moving.
Mm-hmm.
I would literally cry, go home and cry. Like, this can't be life. I'm only, 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm depressed. I'm making money, but I'm unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
I just want something different. I know I have other aspirations and I have potential for other things, and the world is bigger than Little Rock, Arkansas.
Absolutely.
But this is all that I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be exposed to more. And I prayed about it, and I felt, and actually I visited Atlanta in maybe it was August of 2017.
Okay.
And I could hardly sleep. Like, in the hotel room, I just remember, being wide awake. Because I felt like God was saying, this is where you were supposed to be.
Interesting.
But, my family dynamic of me being the baby and the only girl.
Mm-hmm.
How do I make this move by myself? No family, just our best friend. How do I make this move by myself?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm miserable.
Understood.
And I know if I make this move that it'll be life changing.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally just decided to, no job. I didn't have a job when I moved to Atlanta.
Things I did not know.
I did not have a job when I moved to Atlanta. I had saved up a significant amount of money.
Significant, guys.
Living at home with my parents.
Significant.
And I just decided that I would live off of my savings because the insurance agent, back then it was, you can get a job. So I was like, well, I can just move and then look for jobs. And
Why not?
live off my savings.
Right. No, why not?
And that's what I did.
And did.
And that's what I
Okay.
did. Yeah.
So still, you have this feeling when you visited in 2017 that you should be here.
Mm-hmm.
What you have the feeling,
Mm-hmm.
but still, why Atlanta? There's so many other cities to choose from.
Well, I felt like, number one, there are so many people that look like me that are super duper successful. And in Little Rock, you don't necessarily see that. Now I know that the dynamic is changing where you see a lot of Black women that are killing the game as far as entrepreneurship and influence and all of that. But in Atlanta, seeing a woman that's a millionaire, seeing a woman that has a business, seeing a Maserati, seeing a Bentley, you're not breaking your neck to see who's driving the Bentley. But back home, we who's taking that Bentley? Who's that in that Maserati?
Mm-hmm.
In Atlanta, it's common for luxury is common. And I don't even mean luxury tangible things, intangible, just the mindset of the people here were so different. I can achieve anything. As far as their mindsets, there are no ceilings, there are no limits, especially for Black people.
Mm-hmm.
There is no box. And we grew up in the deep South to where it's Well, what are you doing here?
Little black girl.
Unless your family has old money.
And you're still treated because you're still the super minority
Yep.
in Arkansas.
Right. But in Atlanta, no. This is like,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, this is like the mecca for black people. Like, if you want to do entertainment, you come to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do fashion, you can come to Atlanta. If you want to do real estate, you can come to Atlanta.
Okay.
If you want to do entrepreneurship, you can do it from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like, number one, I needed that exposure to see that. And number two, I felt like God already had certain relationships and partnerships or friendships assigned for me to, once I got here, so that I could see all of the aspects of, okay, well, this friend does this, and this friend works with Tyler Perry, and this friend works with all these people in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, like anything, literally anything is possible. It's kind of like, if we have dreams and visions and goals,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we have that, it takes that exposure
Absolutely.
to be able to realize, like, this is really attainable.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's why Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. That's why Atlanta.
That's why Atlanta.
You guys. Now, we still have no job.
Yeah, 6 months, no job.
6 months, no job.
Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now, I wasn't like I wasn't looking, because
that was gonna be my next question. When did we start looking?
I started looking before I moved, but a lot of people said that, they would look at my address.
Mm-hmm.
It would be better for me to have an Atlanta, Georgia address and be considered
Mm-hmm.
for a job. So I was like, you know what? I would love to have a job before coming down here, but I have the money.
Mm-hmm.
I can move and live off of whatever, and then look for a job. So that's why I decided, but it still was like, I want to say the first 3 months, it still was super hard to find a job.
Is that industry a competitive market, or?
It's competitive. What I will say is, when I stopped being lazy,
In what sense?
I did not want to update my resume. I'm trying to tell y'all,
That's very transparent.
I was
honest.
being I took the time, especially if you ain't got no job. You can work, whoever this is for. You're looking for a job, you need to update your resume. Like, tell the people exactly what you can do. Like, I spent maybe 1 to 2. It wasn't even a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
1 to 2 hours updating my resume, putting all my licenses that I had, as far as insurance, because insurance, you have licenses, putting all that specifically, like, just the words,
Mm-hmm.
and updating it that way. And I want to say, I started getting calls like that immediately, just by me taking the time to not be lazy and update my resume.
So, updated resume with licenses and specific words.
Specific words, I put in, I think, percentages, numbers,
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff. And I was very detailed in what I could do. And I'm sure that in a way stood out from other applicants.
Of course. And those are actually some key points that are for formatting,
Mm-hmm.
a resume to get noticed. Now, I heard you mention that you had some licenses because you need to secure those in insurance.
Mm-hmm.
When did we get these licenses? Because we just became insurance claims adjuster last year, right before leaving. Well, not really, 4 years.
Yeah.
But in those 4 years, you acquired.
I had only 3 licenses. I worked for a large electric company,
Mm-hmm.
and they did business mainly in the states that I worked. so I had 3 licenses. They did business in 3 states. So I had 3 licenses when I left.
Oh, so this is per state that these. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm thinking they're like skilled.
No, so you can
licenses.
be licensed per state.
Okay.
And so that was another potential risk, is that typically if you work in Georgia, then they want you to have a Georgia license.
I mean, it makes sense.
I did not have it. So I actually, going back to partnerships and relationships, I spoke with someone and she was like, see if you can get like switch your life, your Arkansas. Okay, so there are reciprocal states,
Okay.
right? So she said, see if you can if Georgia is a reciprocal state of Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
so that now I can put on my resume that I have my Georgia license. May not have no Georgia I'm sorry guys. I may not have any Georgia experience,
Mm-hmm.
but I have my license.
Right.
Handling claims and what I was doing at that time is pretty textbook across
Pretty
most
standard.
states. Yeah, it's standard. The laws are just different.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, okay, well, I already have my Georgia license, so that was another thing that I was able to add to my resume, that hey, I have my Georgia license.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not any experience, but if you have experience handling claims, period, in this industry, they're pretty much like, oh well, you're good.
Okay.
We'll teach you the law. We'll teach you
With the rest of that stuff, we can
Yeah.
teach you.
on the job. Yeah,
That's no problem.
right.
As long as you got this paperwork. We're
That's
good
the
to
most
go.
important. That was the most important to most people.
Now, I recall you saying that you had visited Atlanta. Now, growing up, did you travel often or any?
Yeah, so I played AU basketball, and one thing that I can credit my parents and my mom for is making sure that even though we were traveling for sports, is trying to expose me to, like something, like if we had time to go to a museum or had time to see something in those particular cities. So I was able to travel, and I feel like that little bit, or not little bit, but that exposure really helped me to, I knew I wasn't staying in Arkansas all of my life. Like I knew that. Where I was going, I didn't know. I just knew I wasn't going to be in Little Rock all my life.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I dig it. So, we're in ATL. We've been here for 3 years. And you mentioned being connected or having built the relationships with people that work in different industries. And that being something that was encouraging for you to come, right? So that makes me think that you're interested in other things outside of what your current occupation is.
Right. Yeah.
Is
for
that
sure.
a correct
That's
assumption?
accurate.
Because
That's accurate.
when you assume things, you know what they say. Is there something else that you look forward to pursuing while here?
Most definitely. So, of course, I want to get into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
As far as I have an idea for a clothing line.
Okay.
I don't want to give it away right now.
I completely understand.
It's my
that.
baby, but off of camera, I will tell you.
I get the beats.
I will tell you about that. And then my main thing is like, and is just is that I think people see the after of, or the fullness of a person, and they don't get to see the process that person takes to get to where they are today.
Oh, for sure.
And they assume that you've never been through anything, that you've never failed, that you've never like felt like you've made a mistake, or that you have missed an opportunity, and I have been there. So I feel like even if it's just 2 people or 3 people, like my assignment or everybody's assignment is to, I grew up in church, we call it testifying. But
Y'all probably did too. You may not.
however
know now.
you want to put it,
You may
like
not know now, but-
however you want to put it, I feel like it's everybody. We all have a responsibility to tell somebody about our story in our community, like to build, you know what I'm saying, to build somebody up, to encourage somebody to say, hey, I look like this now. But I didn't been through some things. So I really want to, there are some things as far as, I guess you call it, this women empowerment thing, this, I don't
call it what you want to call it.
I want to call it, it's like really like mentorship. That's really what it is. It's like mentorship.
Okay.
But it's for young women, young ladies.
Okay.
You know, it's just basically telling my story, being encouraging, being someone that can offer wisdom and offer guidance, career wise, relationship wise, you know, spiritually. That's something that I want to get into. I have not gotten into it yet. Have lots of ideas about what that looks like.
I don't know, Tamara. So, for those that do not know, I just so happen to know Tamara personally. And I just don't think that it has not started. I think
that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you've been doing.
It's something that I have been doing. But sometimes I feel like not pressured. It's kind of like the weight of the assignment, even maybe something that you feel with this podcast.
Ooh.
It's like you see it and you know you're supposed to do it, but it's just like, oh my gosh, it's just so big. And you're doing it on the micro level, but there's a macro level that
minister to me. Minister to me, Mr. Robinson.
There is another level. And you know what? When I think about it, it's not even for me.
Your gift, in my opinion, hardly is ever for you.
Right. I agree.
It's not for you.
And when you think about that, it's like I cannot hold it.
Because I mean, if we, and I'm no minister, but if we even think about like breaking it down, essentially, what do we do with gifts?
We give them.
We give gifts, whether it's down to the baby shower, the birthday party, the graduation party. We give gifts.
That's good, Melissa.
Like, I know my way around some things. I'm just saying. I appreciate that. But yes, that is exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that come to fruition on the macro level.
Oh my!
Because I've seen what you've been doing. I've seen it.
Yeah.
With thine own eyes. So yes, that's an awesome gift that you have, and it's also very good to hear that you like to share it with others, because you could be selfish with that gift.
And you know what? One thing that this was probably about 2 years ago that I had a revelation about is that sometimes we feel like we have to have it 100% together.
Talk about it.
But there are some people who are going through a process that you may have gone through 10 years ago that could use the revelation and wisdom that you have.
Absolutely.
Even though you're in your mess, but you could have overcome something and got the revelation, got the wisdom, and it'd be like a diamond, a jewel to somebody else.
You can minister in your mess.
You can.
We're all living testimonies.
Exactly.
So, I mean, we're all one mess away.
And you don't need you don't need a, what do you call it? It doesn't have to be like a structured platform. Everyday life. You can just be like, hi, how are you doing?
And it's very interesting that you said that, because like I've expressed on other shows, the goal of this particular series was to interview Black women from different generations, across different, ages, because it's not all just generations, between about 28 till I believe it's 80. I gotta check on that still. I believe it's 80. But to encourage someone to press forward, to motivate somebody to continue, what they're doing, and inspire someone to move that think that it's too late. I'm too old.
And it's not.
I don't have the things. Tamara didn't have a job prior to going into her current career, did not have experience in it.
Did not.
You just gotta, you have to go. You have to go. So that's testimony in itself, and that message encourages me to continue doing what I'm doing. Continue to do, because everybody can use some encouragement, right?
Right.
And this particular series was birthed selfishly. I can be honest about that, because I got to go, guys.
Yes, you do.
I gotta go.
Go.
It's been a long.
I can't sing, so I'm not even gonna try.
But you do all the time.
Off camera.
Oh, okay. Fair. All right. So would you say, when moving, you talked about the relationships that you kind of already had, but you were still leaving family. You talked about being the baby.
Yeah.
And not only the baby, the only girl. And I mean, listeners, gather what you will about that, and it's probably correct.
Maybe.
It's probably correct. But did anyone try to discourage you from going?
You know what? I think that made my move and my decision easy, because my parents were like, I know. When I came to them and I was like, I gotta go, they were like, we know. And we know it's time now.
And that was all the confirmation you
And
did.
that was all the confirmation.
It didn't matter what anybody else had to say.
As long as my mom and daddy said, we good with it, we're not going to let you change your mind.
Amen to that. Because that's important too.
Right, because I want to say I was getting ready to have to renew my lease after a year, and I was like, Mama, I work from home.
Pause. Renew lease. That means she moved out of Mama's house. She got a new job and moved out of Mom's house, guys, or her parents' house rather.
Yes.
So okay, you're about to renew your lease.
So we'll renew it in Atlanta, and I was like, Mama, I'm working from home. I can work from anywhere. Can I come home? And she said, no.
I appreciate that.
She said no.
How did you feel about that?
Love you, mean it. I knew
in the moment.
I was sad in the moment, but I was asking her to come back home from a place of fear and a place of, I can't do this by myself. And I know that she felt that, and she knew that was the only reason why I would be coming home. So she was like, I can't let you. You can come and visit. You can take you a week off.
Right.
Use your little PTO.
Your little. Ooh, kill me with that. Everything is little.
Use your little PTO time. Come, I'll fix your room up, cook for you, but you gotta go back. You have to go back.
But shout out to like that accountability.
Yeah, and I appreciate. Yeah, like I said, I appreciate. Like that's the importance of. It may not even be parental, but having friends that understand the assignment and the call on your life.
Absolutely.
Like, sis, no, you can't.
No.
Series 2 is coming out when, Melissa?
You see that, guys? That's called real friendship and accountability.
Right.
Stay on me, Tam. I welcome it. I will push back, But that's just a part of how this goes.
Right.
That's a part of how this goes.
But I feel like it's necessary, like, to have
Absolutely.
those type of people that's
Mhm.
like, I see the gift,
Mhm.
I see the assignment, and no, you can't stop. You can take a break if that's needed.
Stop.
but you can't-
Rest.
Yeah, rest,
But don't stop.
but don't stop.
But don't stop.
Mhm.
Now, when coming out to Atlanta, did anyone discourage you from doing that?
I can't say I recall any discouragement.
And if they did, obviously they're irrelevant.
And you know what? I think that after because I didn't tell anybody.
So
Did I tell y'all?
I'm about
I
to get
didn't
into
tell
that.
y'all.
I'm about to get into that. She says y'all because I know Tamara through a friend group, a very tight knit friend group that have been friends over 15 years. And as you heard, Tamara made a decision that was best for Tamara, and she did not share with me. I don't even know if she shared with the other people in the friend group, but I probably would have heard about it because some people in the friend group can't hold water. So, and you know who you are. And I appreciate the fact that you can't hold water, but she did not share that with us. And I think that's important because sometimes your assignment, especially at the time, is just for you.
Yeah. And I think that I was afraid. I think that I was so unsure of my decision. I didn't need any discouragement. I didn't need anybody saying, Atlanta is a big city. Are you
I'm
sure?
smiling because that's what I felt like, but I'm glad that you said it. I'm so glad that you said
Who
it.
mad? Who gonna check us?
I can fight. So, I like it. You did not tell anyone because, like you said, you didn't want to hear the discouraging words. You didn't need any distractions. You were focused, and you did it. Was it coming out here after you got here? Were you afraid of any safety things? What was that like for you as a single young Black woman in a major city? And I'm putting air quotes by yourself.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, I was definitely, I wouldn't say scared, but more cognizant of, like, or if something happened to me, who gonna know I'm gone?
Right.
No, like, seriously, like, or even something as small as, my car. Something's wrong with my car. Like, what do I do? My dad isn't here.
Right.
You know, my family mechanic isn't here.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that those things crossed my mind, and I was very careful until I became familiar with certain faces in, like, my neighborhood, and became familiar with, you know, my surroundings. And I was extremely cautious because the crime rate in Atlanta is real.
And let me say that, in my opinion, that the measures or the concerns that she had should be your concerns everywhere. Whether
That's
you're
true.
home, whether you're moving, whether you're domestic or abroad.
That's
I think just as a woman or a person, period, because they after everybody, you should be aware. You should be aware of those things and be as safe as possible. So completely understood.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense. Would you say that you regret anything that you've done on this journey thus far?
I would say that I got the green light to move to Atlanta maybe 8 to 9 months before I actually moved.
Interesting.
Do it sooner. I would have done it sooner.
How did you know you were given the green light prior to?
I don't know. It's just you know how you just know You just know, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Things are just, as far as finding an apartment, being connected to certain people, relationships, like, it was like God was showing me that I'm already preparing, you to not necessarily be comfortable, but for you to, I'm preparing this small community for you here already.
For your transition.
For the transition. So that once you get here, although your parents aren't here, you have that support.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like those things were already put in place. Community was put in place way before I ever got here. And so I wish I would have done it sooner.
So that's one nugget and you expressed it as somewhat of regret, not moving your feet sooner. What would you say are some other, not necessarily lessons, but things you learned along the way?
I will say,
and it could be things that you learned about yourself on the journey, about others, just to aid in where you are today.
So one of the major things that I learned was that I had, and it's going to sound really weird, so I'm going to explain it.
Okay.
I had a fear of success.
Yeah, break that down.
Okay. So part of that is I had a fear of, once I became successful, being able to be consistent in my success. And then another part was, a part of fear of success is, if I'm successful, what about the people who knew me at a different level of success? How will they see me, or how will those relationships morph, or will they change? And coming to Atlanta, I feel like I grew more into who I already was back home. And then, sometimes people move and then they come back and they're like, oh, she thinks she all that. No, I was always all that. And this was always on the inside. And this was always on the inside of me. I just realized that, I came into agreement with it.
I like that. I came into agreement with it.
I came into agreement with it.
That's good.
Just now, so those things were I was kind of fearful of that type of level. Well, you call it success, or even transition, or revealing. I don't know what you call it, but I think I was fearful about that because which is not really about this podcast, or it has to do with the podcast, but I really cared what people thought about me.
Where are you with that now, if you don't mind me asking?
Can we cuss?
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care. I don't care. And I'm extreme, but it took it, and I feel like that's another reason why I had to come to Atlanta by myself. Is that I had to come to terms with who I was, and come to terms with being that person, regardless of who liked it, or who agreed with it, or who it bothered or offended.
What a wonderful lesson.
And it made me so happy.
Wow. It's so much freedom in it.
Exactly. It's so much freedom in being you. And it's so simple. But
it seems so simple.
It's not, but it seems so simple. And and we talked about it, I'm just so happy. I'm happy. I'm content. I'm happy. I'm joyful. I love me.
I love it. I can tell you.
I'm a vibe.
A vibe, a light, nourishment to the soul. Shall I continue?
Please.
If you don't gas up your friends, then are they really your friends?
No. You need new ones.
Hello.
You need new ones.
You heard it here. It's a sign. If you ever needed one. So, Tamara, is there anything that I have not asked that you would like to share?
That's a good question, Melissa. Is there anything? I would say One thing that I feel like I want to share, that's kind of on my heart, is like, don't allow fear to paralyze you. Don't allow the fear of the future or the fear of the unknown to paralyze you. Because one thing that I think about often is going to the grave with regret, or going to the grave with unfinished business, and wishing that when I had the opportunity to do something that I didn't take advantage of it, even though I had the money, the time, the resources, solely because of fear. So I think that's the main thing that I really want to get out there. Is like, you live.
And we'll end it on that, ladies and gentlemen. Live a little. Take that leap of faith. Go sooner, she said. When you feel it, go sooner. Prepare yourself. She may have come to Atlanta with no job. Howsoever, she had prepared not to be employed at the time. So, rush decision? No. There was some preparation in that. Do what you need to do for you. If you need to keep that particular assignment to yourself, so that you can stay focused and not get distracted or deterred by naysayers or people that probably or may want what's best for you, but the assignment was not given to them, so they can't understand it. I hope this conversation encouraged you. I certainly enjoyed it. I got to learn new things about my friend. I mean, that's always exciting for me. Tamara, should any of the listeners have any follow-up questions for you, how or where can they reach you? If you like to share, because we can keep it private.
So you can email me.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That is okay.
Is it good?
If you would
want me to
share
give my number?
That is on you. That is on you.
Michael B. Jordan, I know you have Lori Harvey, but
How?
I will give you my number.
Hello, somebody. Hello.
No, I'm just kidding.
So
I'm just kidding.
If you'd, she's just kidding, babe. She's yeah. Anyway, email address. That's what we were talking about. Email address. If you'd like to share, your email address, if that's what you feel comfortable with, please share with the people, and I will be sure to include that in the notes section.
Okay. So my email address is Tamara, Tamara, period. K-A-T, period. Robinson @gmail.com.
You didn't spell Robinson like you spelled everything else.
Well, you know what? People don't know how to spell my first name. A lot, I find that they spell it weird. But I can spell that too. ROBINSON @gmail.com.
You guys, the information will be in the show notes for you. Thank you so much for your yes. I love you more. Please understand that I truly love you, and I only want what's best for you, always.
Same.
Bye, guys.
Well, listen, this was really good.